As a youth, I was always working. From the time I was maybe 10 years old to make money for extra clothes or other things, I threw paper routes. I threw Memphis Shoppers News, commercial appeal routes twice, and my first commercial appeal route I couldn't drive, so we would pick our papers up at a location not too far from here. They would be bundled and wrapped, and there was no way for me to get there and haul them to my route location, and my father had to be at work at 5 or 5:30, so we would get up, go to the area where they would drop the newspapers and pick them up. He would put them in his trunk, and then he would put them on the street corners where I would then walk to the end of the street and carry my papers and throw the route. And there was a curfew, so after a specific time, I don't remember the time, I don't remember if it was sundown, black or white, you were not to be on the streets, and that was to prevent any type of violence. Some police officers pulled up, rolled up on my father, shined lights in our windows, guns drawn, and wanted to know what the heck we were doing on the city Memphis streets at 4:30 in the morning. And obviously my father rolled down the windows and showed the newspapers, and he let us go on. But it just, as a 13-year-old kid, it was eye-opening as to how tense the city was at that time.
You say guns drawn. Were they down or were they at you?
They were guns drawn, were at the car, because they had no idea what we were up to. I mean, we could have been someone trying to firebomb or do whatever. Who knew? Who knew what they thought? They just weren't happy with the fact that we were out at 3:30 in the morning.
I remember the city immediately after the assassination. And part of that recollection that I have is an interesting one, because I was a paper boy for the Commercial Appeal. And I actually was out on the street throwing papers during the curfew that was imposed in Memphis after Dr. King's death. And I was actually confronted by National Guardsmen in bayonets about violating the curfew. And of course, it was obvious to anyone who saw me that I had 2 paper sacks, and that's what I was doing. And but it left an impression on me that, here are these men with bayonets literally acting in a manner that is somewhat threatening to a 16-year-old boy who is trying to disseminate information in the community.